Hi, I'm Abbie Wilson. I got asked by Histos Presets to answer a few questions for them. So I'm going to attempt to. This is like my 8th attempt. I am really awkward on video, so please bear with me. So the first question is, what sparked your interest in photography and what inspired you to explore it? So really I started taking pictures when I was pretty young, like probably like 8 or 9, which I feel like everyone says that, and does it even count if it's with a point and shoot and you're just shooting pictures of your dolls? Anyways, that's what I was doing. I stuck my dolls and my baby brother in like this big African basket that we had, and I took pictures of them and set them up. And yeah, that's how I started. Um, my grandparents really helped me a lot when I was learning, just with like framing photos and like in camera and different editing, which looking back, like I break all those rules now. But it was a good start and it was what got me going. Um, so I owe a lot to them. They let me use their point and shoot for like 5 years and I took a lot of photos. And in 2007 I worked at a tree farm, spent all my earnings on a Nikon D80 because that's the one that my crush had, which is so pitiful of me, but is what happened. So I used that for a while. I did a lot of like events, and I shot my first wedding when I was 16. My apologies to the happy couple. Um, I shot a lot of my cousin and my siblings because those were the subjects I had to shoot. A couple years later, my D80 broke, and I went through a really rough patch of life. My cousin lent me her D40X, which was really sweet, and I got to use that for a while, and it really pushed me out of my boundaries. I couldn't depend on the camera gear anymore. I just had to use what I had and make it count, and it really threw me into like a bit more moody photos. Um, More of what spoke to me, I guess. Yeah. Um, then about 5 years ago already, I can't believe it's 5 years, I bought my Canon 5D Mark II, which I've been using for 5 years. Um, and that kind of spun me into it a bit more. Shooting like a lot of maternity photos, birth photography, um, a few weddings here and there, a lot of portraits, just like different stuff. I wanted to be a food photographer, and for a while, like when I was about 17, 16, 15, all around there, I was obsessed with the idea of being a full-time wedding photographer, with like a light and airy style. What inspired me a lot during those years was different bloggers, and photographers that I would follow, um, ruthlessly. Those really inspired me. Um, and then, yeah, this year has been a really good big year for me. Just kind of catapulted into it a bit more. I've been really inspired by a lot of my friends online that I met through a group called Looks Like Film. And there's some amazing photographers in there, and they really inspired me. Um, and this is the first summer that I've actually been full-time photographer slash doula, but like mostly photographer. And it's big and it's scary. And I wouldn't have done it, but like one week my dad and one of my loved ones said to me, "You need to be doing this full time." And it just seemed like a weird coincidence that two people would say the same thing. And it was time. I was done my school year job, and I didn't look for another job. I just went straight into it, and it's been a bit nerve-wracking, but it's been good. And I'm really excited to see where it takes me. Um, so the next question is, how would you describe your vision slash style? So my vision for photography is showing the emotion and connecting people. My style is very emotional. I My tagline is for lovers and fighters, which means a lot to me because what I want to show is the love and the fight in people. So in their darkness or their happiness or really whatever they're going through or experiencing, like the big events in their life or the sad times or really like just raw emotion, um, connection. Yeah, my style is a bit darker, but I use a lot of light, and I just really love the way the light hits at different times of day and how it plays with us. And yeah, I edit very vibrantly usually. That's pretty much my style. What does being a photographer mean to you? So, being a photographer means that I get paid to do art, and it's amazing. I love it. I get to connect with people. I get to get up close and personal and connect with people, and I get to notice everything. Like, I have to notice things. When I walk down the street, I am framing pictures constantly in my mind of different situations, or I experience life and it's like my eyes are a lens. I know that sounds really cheesy, but that's what it feels like. um, I yeah, I notice little details that make up the bigger story, or little smiles or laughter or tears, or like it's an amazing vocation. I love it. Um, yeah. What motivates you to keep going? That's the next question. And my answer to that is a few different answers. My family motivates me a lot because they're so supportive. I have no idea why, but they are. Um, they they're always cheering me on and always liking my photos, which is exciting. And um, yeah, my family, my friends, my mental health is a big driving force because I have to keep sane. And art helps me to process things and remember things and um, like things that I would otherwise maybe forget. Uh, there's a lot of different things that motivate me. The beauty in this world. I Yeah, some days it's really hard to get out of bed. Some days I'm not that motivated. But what keeps me going is my family. Um, that's the biggest motivator. Oh, and when people message me and are like, these photos make me feel so beautiful, or they're crying because someone sees them finally, or thank you notes from aunts of the bride or groom, or friends that encourage me, or people that there's just so many motivators to keep going. It's Yeah. What are your goals with photography? So my goals have changed over the years. Right now, I have a goal and it feels really right to me. And this goal is to become a nomad. I've not like a strict nomad, but like, I want to have home base, but then I want to be able to travel a lot with my photography. And my main source of income would be weddings and shoots that I book all over the world. Um, it's a big goal. It's gonna take a while, but um, that's my goal right now. I am gonna go back to school for social work, and so I would like to use that with my photography and travel and be able to help people because I'd be making income off of the traveling, and the shoots that I book, and then I get to like invest in people's lives all over the world, wherever I am, and yeah, that's what I want to do ultimately. I want to be doing some projects every couple of years. I have a project right now that I'm working on called Soft Galaxies, and it's about um, the way mental illnesses affect us as individuals. And I want to be shooting stuff that makes my soul happy. I had a shoot this summer that filled me up so much. It was like I felt so alive. It was just like a maternity session with a doula client that was about to give birth. She gave birth the next day, and but we were just in a lake, and there was lots of greens around, and it was just like I was able to breathe. It was amazing. It was That's my goal, is to shoot more of that and to invest in people's lives and be able to help people by using my photography And yeah, so that's where I want to go. What is a quote that always inspires you? So there's a really long quote by Anne Lamott, and she's talking about writing, really, and I'm gonna butcher this, but the last line is, um, it's like singing in a ship during a storm, and you might not be able to make the storm stop, but you can draw people together and make it less harsh. And it's about writing, but I love using it for photography because it's like, yes, we can, photography and photojournalism and all of this has drawn people together for so many years, and it's beautiful. Like we can enter into community and connection through art and through photos because it draws people together and it helps them know that like we're not alone. There's people all over the world experiencing different things, and we can share in their joy or their sadness or like anything. And like Humans of New York, right? He tells people's stories, and it brings more humanity to people that we might not otherwise stop and think about, or we might have previously judged, or anything really, right? Like it draws people together. And so yeah, that quote really inspires me. um yeah, I love quotes. I have like notes of quotes on my phone. It's really bad. So last question is, what is a technique that you find yourself doing to achieve your style? So I touched on this a little bit, but basically techniques that I use. um, so camera wise, technically I underexpose a lot, and I edit pretty vibrantly depending on the shoot. Um, but I only shoot with primes because I really love the way that they um, force me to get up close and personal with people, and I I'm I try to be as awkward as I really am because it makes them feel less awkward. Um, I really love connecting with my clients. Um, it makes it more personal, and it just opens up. They let their guard down. I'm able to get up like really close and capture more of the emotion and the um, connection between the people, whatever I'm shooting. Um, yeah. Trying to think of any other techniques I use. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. I really don't think about this. I like asking people to just stare at each other for a bit. If it's like a intimate session, or love, all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't really think about it. I just go with what I see and hear and think that like if there's an opportunity to jump in there and take a photo, or I try not to interrupt what they're doing, and I get them to stand like the way they normally stand. I don't like posing. Honestly, like it stresses me out. The stuff that I pose, I really don't like a whole lot. Like I'll give like, soft posing. So like, hey, can you guys go stand over there and like do this, or but I'm not like, okay, now adjust your face and turn your shoulders. Like it just isn't really me. So works for some people, but this is what I do to get to my style. Yeah, but I think that's all. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, I'm really impressed. You're probably just my mother, or I've paid you to watch this, but thank you. Have a good day.